guys, Aaron Chandler here for Forever Football, DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. 4 massive stories today for DRFC Daily Reports, your source for the latest Doncaster Rovers news and transfer rumours and updates. So, big stories today: pre-season, trialists, moving people out potentially in the next few weeks, and also a story on Madger Gomes on his future destination, potentially starting next season. So, before you get started, please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell to see the most of the video, and let's get straight into this one. So, let's start with the trials. Obviously, you'll go see the first video, the announcement of Matt Smith. So go and check out that video first of all. We'll bring out another Daily Reports tomorrow because Matt Smith has released some statements on his move to Doncaster, so we'll speak about them in that video tomorrow. But this video right now is all about trialists to start off with. And yeah, so we start off with the trialist situation. 4 trialists have been named. Now, you guys don't, well, you guys might have seen on social media, I've got my ticket for the Rosington main match. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that match. But, yeah, potentially we'll be seeing these trialists in the match. So, the following players trained with Rovers over the last week. So, they've named 4. First of all, Emyr Hughes, the 27-year-old Welsh international midfielder, a free agent after leaving Ipswich Town. At his best, Hughes is an exciting box-to-box midfielder with powerful drives through the middle of the park with a brilliant engine, but injuries have blighted an incredibly promising career, leaving him at a crossroads this summer. He started his footballing life with Swansea, then from the age of 7 before controversially joining Manchester City as a 16-year-old. He made 1 senior appearance for City, coming off the bench in an FA Cup. This came after a spell on loan at League 2 Northampton, with time at Bristol City in the Championship following. He joined Wigan on a season-long loan, but then the deal was converted into a permanent just 1 month in, and injuries impacted his time with Wigan, and he joined Huddersfield for a successful loan spell. He returned to Wales with Cardiff in August 2016, but moved to Ipswich on loan the following January, proving incredibly popular and earning a permanent switch to Portman Road. An Achilles heel hampered his first full season, and he tore cartilage in his knee in December 2017, keeping him sidelined until the start of 1920 season. Over the following 2 campaigns, he struggled to force himself into Paul Lambert's plans. End of the time Paul Cook took charge in March, it was clear Ipswich's career was over. Hughes won 11 caps for Wales, the last coming in November 2017. So, Emyr Hughes is number 1. Number 2 is Owen Bailey, another player suffering injury setbacks in recent years, leaving Newcastle at the end of last season. The centre-back, who can also play midfield, was a promising member of the Magpies under-23 setup and skippered the side, which saw him included in the senior squad for a pre-season tour in China. But afterwards he tore his meniscus in his knee and spent a 1.5 years sidelined after suffering a setback during recovery. The 22-year-old left St James's Park without making a senior competitive appearance, after being one of the leading figures to emerge from the club's academy in recent years. Is that a very exciting transfer, I hear you say? It should be interesting. Charlie Colkett is number 3, the 24-year-old midfielder without a club after leaving the Swedish Premiership side Östersund. Very familiar name to Arsenal fans. 1 game defeat, 1 game win. So there we go. An academy prospect of Chelsea, he won the FA Youth Cup and the UEFA Youth League while at Stamford Bridge. He represented England for under-20 level. He had loan spells at Bristol Rovers, Vitesse, Shrewsbury and Swindon. His time at the county ground was not during the managerial tenure of Richie Wellens, though. That was not during the Swindon time. He failed to make a senior appearance for Chelsea before moving to Sweden, where he made 52 appearances across 2 campaigns for Östersund. Now, I'd be a fan of this transfer, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail afterwards. The final name is a winger, a 21-year-old winger without a club since leaving Man United last summer. It's Aidan Barlow. Barlow joined Manchester United at the age of 6 and was a regular for the club's under-18s and under-23s in recent years. He had a loan spell in Norway with Tromsø in the latter part of 2019. He's a versatile player. Barlow is more attack-minded as a midfielder and can operate anywhere across the middle of the park. So that, my friends, is talking about the 4 trialists: Emma Hughes, Owen Bailey, Charlie Colkett, and Aidan Barlaw. Now, looking at those 4 names, and I'm only saying if it's possible, sign all 4 of them up. Now, obviously the fans have also been speaking about John Flanagan. Now, obviously the fans have been rumouring, is John Flanagan a rumour? Was it a made-up thing? Is it? Is it not? It sent the fans into a pretty wild meltdown. And all I can say to you guys about John Flanagan rumour is, don't believe it. Just don't believe it, because not everything you read is gospel, you know. So I would quickly move on from John Flanagan, and anyway, he would be completely out of our price range if it was true. So I would exclude John Flanagan entirely. If it is true and it does happen, then flaming hell, we've got a brilliant guy there. But I would just, forget about that for now. Let it come up and take you by surprise another time. But let's just focus on the 4 names that have been mentioned officially by the Free Press. Charlie Colkett, Aidan Barlaw, Owen Bailey, and Emma Hughes. Emma Hughes, without, apart from the injuries, I'd take him in a heartbeat. I'd absolutely take him in a heartbeat. Veteran player, knows the Football League, knows what it takes to get out of there, knows what it takes to be in that Football League in all the divisions. An exciting player. He's got veteranism on his side, and I think he'd be a leader in that dressing room as well. Charlie Colkett, he's got that experience of Europe with Östersunds, and I think he could bring something different to that midfield. Aidan Barlaw, again, a young, up-and-coming player, one for the long term, one we can develop, won't cost too much on the wages either, so I think that's a no-brainer for me. Snap him up. And Owen Bailey, could have been an emerging prospect from the Newcastle Academy. Let's prove the Toon Army wrong. Let's prove them wrong. Bring him in and get him working with Wellens and get him back to the potential we know he can be. So my message to Wellens is, if you've got all 4 available, sign them up, because trust me, they all bring something new and unique. They all bring something different to this squad, something special. Each one of them brings something special to the squad, and I think it's worth the risk, in my opinion, to bring all 4 in. So it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. Now let's get on to our next transfer. Speaking of Wellens, he's been speaking about pre-season so far and the training that's been going on over the last week. So again, via the Free Press, such was the levels of hard work put in by the squad in their first few days back at Cowley Park. Wellens confessed missing out planned sections of the punishing fitness work, but he remains convinced the players will reach the levels of fitness he demands in order to implement his high-energy style of play come the start of the season. There's been a couple of times where they've put that much effort that I've actually let them off some extra time running at the end, he said to the Free Press. He then goes on to say, we don't want to be reactive, we don't want to say we'll get fit and then in 4 or 5 weeks you're not quite there. We want to get as fit as possible, as early as possible, and if we need to pull the reins back with 2.5 weeks to go, then we'll pull them back. At least we know then if we get back up to those levels, it's about getting up to A level. We spoke to Ben Close after the first 3 days, and he said it's already the hardest pre-season he's ever had. By the way, that's amazing to hear, because it means that we're working those players hard. Because we worked really hard on the first 2 days and actually let them have just a football session on the Wednesday. You get people who have experienced different pre-seasons, but there's no easy way around it. It's hard work. We don't just run them into the pitch. It's all football related, checking certain things like concentration with the ball, runners off you. If we can get that and not be reactive in 4 or 5 weeks and get the mental fitness as well as the physical fitness, it'll stand us in good stead. It'll be more of the same from the Rovers squad from Monday as they build up to that first friendly against Rossington Main next Saturday. Wellens is seeking to condition his players so that the style of play becomes natural to them. He has warned the punishing training methods that may lead to injuries in the early weeks of the pre-season. So obviously it's going to be an interesting watch. It's going to be very interesting to sort of see, how the squad works. Obviously in terms of warning the punishing training methods and leading to injuries in the early weeks of pre-season. He did say to the Free Press on that particular statement, you know, the way I work in pre-season, we might pick up some injuries because of the way I train. It's a question of whether we train them hard and risk injuries, or train them less and there's no risk of injury, but you don't get them to the fitness levels you want on the Saturday. It feels that if you train every single day in the way that you want to play, when you come to Saturday, it's not a shock to the system. The body is in line with what is expected. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do a 3-day block, which will be hard. We'll have Thursday off, and then Friday will be a game related because we're playing Rossington on the Saturday. So while footballs will be involved in every stage, fitness is the priority for Wellens in the early weeks as he continues to get to know the group and strength of the individual players at his disposal. But overall, the Rovers boss is pleased. He's been particularly pleased from what he's seen from the group. He said, Omar Bogle has been brilliant. John Bostock has been brilliant. Obviously, Tom Anderson works at his maximum every single training session. Tommy Rowe has come in and set examples. I have to say, they've all been brilliant. But did you notice the names he particularly mentioned there? Tom Anderson, Tommy Rowe, John Bostock, and Omar Bogle. Now, I've said this for weeks. Fans, give Omar Bogle this season. Give him that time. Give him that 12 months to prove himself in the new regime. Don't forget, this is not just on the pitch, this is off the pitch. A brand new regime, a brand new way of working. We're back to the golden era days again, in a modern way, in a 2021 version of the golden days, the decade ago, the golden era of the modern day Rovers. We've got a 2021 version of that modern golden eras. And we'll see what happens in these first 12 months as Omar Bogle works with the new era, and from so far it sounds amazing. So give him that time and I'm sure he'll be firing. Now let's move on to recruitment again, and of course potential loan outs for a couple of youngsters, says Richie Wellens. So again, via the Free Press, Wellens admits he'll need to move players out of Doncaster if he wishes to bring in more signings beyond his priority positions. He's currently focused on adding a left winger and a goalkeeper, and he feels that he has enough room in his playing budget to accumulate signings in those positions. But he says trading players out will be important too, as he looks to bolster his squad, and he intends to make decisions next week on those who are free to leave. At the moment, we need a couple out, he said to the Free Press. Finances will dictate where we are at the moment. At the moment, there's not a lot left in the budget. It'll probably be allow us to get a left winger and a goalkeeper, and that's it. If we're going to move in on loans, I say a winger, a goalkeeper. We still need 5 if I'm being realistic. 4 of those will be loans, along with the one coming in, of course, Matt Smith, that ended up being. The only way we're going to do that is by getting a couple out. I've had a good look at a lot of the players this week, and decisions will be made in the middle of next week about certain players who will need to look for another club. Maybe a couple of the young players, after we play Rossington and Spennymoor, we might start looking to get loans out of them. Wellens has run the rule over a current squad during the first week of pre-season training, admitting some players have altered preconceived ideas while others have backed them in. He said, I think you're going to come in, listen to people's opinions, you have an idea. You get to see what people are earning at the club. But then when you get into yourself, people surprise you. There's a couple of lads that have really put the work in with a smile on their face, been really good for a group, and it's swaying me that I really want to work with them. But then there's others in my mind from early doors I maybe move on. They've just given me more clarity than they're probably not what they're looking for, and we might need to move them on. Big stuff there from Wellens again. And this is what we love about this manager. He's open, he's honest about what he's saying. And I personally feel like he's not afraid to come out and say what needs to be said, whether it's about finances, transfers, recruitment, pre-season, training, going into matches, after matches. He's not afraid to say what he needs to say. He won't be afraid to name people out either, which is what we need from a manager. So I like this ruthlessness about Wellens, and I like that we're being ruthless because it shows we have ambition. So I think it's great. I think it's really, really great. Final story then, a little bit of an extra story here from the Portsmouth news, and this is about Madger Gomes. Now, you see where we're going with this one. Madger Gomes, Portsmouth. Interesting mix. So, this is from the news, based in Portsmouth. Pompey are poised to offer former Leeds man Madger Gomes a trial It's understood the midfielder has been given the green light by Cowley to link up with the Blues for pre-season training. Gomes spent the last 2 seasons with us, making 55 appearances and scoring 4. However, almost half of those outings have come off the bench, with the Spaniard struggling to break into the starting 11 on a regular basis. The 24-year-old netted 4 times in his opening 5 matches last season, yet started just 14 times in all competitions in that 2020-21 campaign. Former Spain under-18 international started his career at Villarreal and Liverpool, while making 2 appearances for Leeds later on. Sold to French club Sochaux in June 2018 for an undisclosed fee, before switching to Croatian side NK Istra in 1961 in the Croatian Premiership. Gomes was then snapped up by Doncaster on a 2-year deal in June 2019, but was released this summer, leaving him searching for a new club. Certainly there will be an opportunity to impress as Pompey as Cowley continues to run the rule over the Trialists, with 10 present for the return of pre-season training on Monday last week, 2 of them goalkeepers. He has 16 contracted players, although Harrison and Jacobs are still feeling their way back to fitness following injury. Of course, 2 of them goalkeepers following the loan signing of Gavin Bazunu from Man City. Of course, we've seen that transfer pop up there as well. So, big story there from the news over in Portsmouth. Madger Gomes potentially on trial at Portsmouth. And you know what? I really feel sorry for Gomes, because I think injuries, not getting enough minutes off the bench. Don't forget, he was a Darren Moore signing. He was brought in the first year of Darren Moore. He left at the end of that season when Darren Moore didn't see the season out, because he left for Sheffield Wednesday. So he's known nothing but Darren Moore. I personally feel like if he was kept on, Wellens could have given him an opportunity to play the way he wants to play. Would Gomes play the way that Wellens wants to play? I think he would have done, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? Injuries, not starting enough games, not getting the right amount of goals and assists for an attacking midfielder. Obviously, he's not a defensive midfielder in my opinion, he's an attacking midfielder. So I do feel a bit sorry for Gomes, because I feel like there could have been something there at Rovers, but he just didn't make it. I think he just didn't make it. So hopefully Pompey can use him better than we did, in my opinion. So yeah, good luck to Madger Gomes if the rumour is true that he is on trial at Portsmouth. And good luck to Danny Cowley on working with Madger Gomes, because I'm sure he's going to be an amazing player to work with. So, big daily reports today there. Big daily reports today. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much. My name is Aaron Chandler from Forever Football, DRFC, keep living the Rovers life, and that, my friends, full time. Rovers side die. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Rovers till I die, and Rovers